Before we get to Saban, Marty, I am curious about your time with Harbaugh. You know him well. You've been all over the world with him. The speculation today is that he may, at the end of the weekend, be entertaining offers to go back to the NFL. I realize that that's something you wouldn't have asked him last week, but just what is your impression of where Harbaugh is right now as this season comes to an end?
Good afternoon, brother. I always appreciate you having me. Man, I have no idea what his future may be at Michigan or potentially the NFL. Those rumors are certainly very loud, and he certainly had a very successful career when he was in the NFL. After a year like this at the University of Michigan, where he gave part of his salary, but took a lesser salary, and had the best year of his tenure in Ann Arbor, leading them to the Big Ten championship, beating Ohio State for the first time during his tenure, and making the college football playoff for the first time, he's worth more money than he was. And so I think there's a lot of variables here involved in this. You're right, I did not ask him that, but he did a great job when he was in the NFL. And he's done a great job at the University of Michigan. I thought he did a really good job before this season. And even though he was arguably the most criticized coach in the country until this season. So who knows what he's going to do, brother, but I think he does have substantial leverage in his back pocket at this moment.
Nobody is speculating that Nick Saban's leaving to go anywhere other than maybe raise a trophy. Tell us about what you have detected so far in T-Town.
Have not spoken with any players or Coach Saban just yet. We'll spend the entire morning with them tomorrow. The Tide are in practice right now, right out here, or I guess kind of right out there as I stand. But they are so locked in, Paul. They're the underdogs in this game for reasons none of us can understand. It just kind of is funny to me. It's funny that players like Will Anderson and Brian Robinson, the leaders and the captains of this team, are so open in saying that around here they're used to that narrative. They feel disrespected despite the fact that they're the most successful college football program under the sun and in the universe. But they are using that. Certainly they are very confident in their preparation, and it's due to that. It's due to preparedness. It's due to the way this year has unfolded. I heard Gene discussing it right there. Probably the best thing that happened to this specific Alabama team was losing to Texas A&M. And Coach Saban told us why yesterday. This is a very young roster here in Tuscaloosa. And a lot of those young players, according to Coach Saban, maybe lost sight and lost full respect on everything that it takes to become a national champion, on everything that it takes to fulfill your potential in this particular program because they win so often. They forget that they can get beaten, and that night against Texas A&M, they did get beaten, and that was quite a wake-up call for a lot of those young players, and, of course, they're unblemished since that time. Their preparation for Georgia is ongoing. They understand what's ahead of them. They don't expect the exact same Georgia team that they saw in Atlanta, Georgia, for good reason. What Bryce Young did in that game was a masterful performance. He was meticulous, and he carved up that Georgia defense. And having been around them last week, I can tell you that those young men over in Athens, they definitely want to avenge that.
Yeah, Marty, as we close up here, I mean, we have two teams that are at the top of the food chain, and they're trying to out underdog each other in the national championship game. I mean, it's pretty funny, isn't it?
I mean, I just find it to be hilarious that you have, like, at the University of Alabama is the standard by which every other program is measured at the collegiate level at this time. I mean, if Alabama wins this game, Coach Saban wins his 7th national title here in Tuscaloosa. That would break his tie with Bear Bryant, whom most Alabama fans, it seems, still consider to be the greatest of all time. It would be Coach Saban's 8th national championship overall. I mean, you're talking about, in my opinion, Coach Saban's the greatest of all time. And if they get this thing done, they only add to that legacy. And they're talking about being underdogs. I find it to be so funny. And Will Anderson is probably the most dominant player in college football, and he is sort of leading that charge and that narrative. He even did it last week, as you know well, before they played the Cincinnati Bearcats. We haven't gotten due respect. And Coach Saban's just a master of psychology. He knows exactly the proper messaging to say to these young men every single day to get them in the proper headspace to achieve their optimum potential. And that's exactly what's going on right out there right now.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming, sports, and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.